Welcome back, guys, to EpistemiX. Today, I'm joined by Mohammed Hijab.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
How you
rahmatullah.
doing? You're
How are
right.
you? Good?
You're good.
It's nice to do something with you finally on camera, man.
Yes, man. We do a lot of things off camera.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So that's good that you say that.
Brilliant. Just a few things, bro, before we start. There's some ground rules I want to put into place, which is whenever we use Arabisms here, you have to define what they are.
Okay.
So we used already the word Assalamu alaikum, which people are probably accustomed to, but how would you define that? What would you say that means?
Peace be upon you.
Peace be upon you. And we also used
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, which means
praise and thanks be to Allah.
Praise and thanks be to Allah.
All praise and thanks belong to Allah.
The heavens and the earth, God.
Yeah.
So the reason we do this, obviously, is because I'm trying to cater for a sort of non-Muslim demographic, those individuals looking into Islam or that may be interested in this type of stuff.
Yes.
That being said, bro, we've got an interesting show today. Something we've sort of touched base on, we tried to get done last week, but for one reason or the other, we couldn't get it done.
Do it, yeah.
But I think it's going to be really good, and it's to do with your recent debate.
Yes.
That you had, I believe it was with Alex, Cosmic Skeptic, and Professor Collins.
That's right. Yeah.
So before,
me and Abdullah Andalusi.
Yes.
Yeah.
You and Abdullah Andalusi. Debates online,
yes,
for people to watch. Where I want to start, bro, with this is I want to know what were your reasons for doing this debate first and foremost.
What I wanted to show is that there's a robust case to cancel out atheism, and that atheism has no explanatory power. If you remember, the title of the debate is something along the lines of Islam or atheism, which one explains reality more? And what I wanted to show was that atheism, I had two objectives. One of them was that atheism has no explanatory power. It does not have any, cannot be used in any way to explain any kind of reality. And what the second objective I had was to show that Islam was not only a rationalizable religion from an intellectual perspective, but was something which actually, when you're confronted with all the evidence, it's as clear as day, right? It's, that this is a religion which is the true religion. Yeah. If put in juxtaposition, for example, with other, especially when juxtaposed with other religions like Christianity and Hinduism and stuff like that, we start realizing that these are all self-contradictory religions, and Islam is the only pristine religion which comes out with a pure, respectable monotheism, and has a meta-narrative which, in fact, is the most coherent one of all of the religions in the whole world. So these are the two things I wanted to show. Okay.
Brilliant. And obviously that with the caveat that for someone that wants to therefore see those truths and understand them and accept them. Because obviously at the end of the day, it's on the person if they want to accept the truth or not once you've presented all of the clear evidences to them.
Absolutely.
So, okay, you're in the debate, right? I watched the debate myself last week.
Yes.
Very, very interesting debate. You were in obviously your own, your style that you normally do, which is very engaging and watchable. May Allah accept from you and make you sincere and all of us sincere. That being said, but one thing I noticed was that there were a few key moments in the debate which really stood out. The first one I wanted to quickly touch upon was this whole idea, because you brought the argument from dependency into play. Now, Alex seemed to really struggle with that particular argument, in particular the idea of necessity. So just shed some light onto what happened there.
I had done my research on Alex before I debated him, because I don't debate people unless I do my research on them. So I'm going to forget about what I say, because I've already said something that he doesn't think is the correct thing.
Because there's been quite a bit of back and forth online since the debate.
So recently he's done something. He said, I didn't say what he said he said. So this is what I said he said, right?
So this is what Hijab said he said.
Deny the existence of contingent objects as Cameron has defined them, then that kind of means that the universe and everything in it is necessary in a sense. And that would be enough, because if the...
Okay, so as you can see, I'm not sure if you heard that, right?
Yeah, he's making the...
so here he said that the universe itself is necessary. Okay, this is it's in a video that he'd done before. Yeah. With someone called I don't know who, I forget his name, but it's actually entitled "A Universe from Nothing," right? So when he clearly said that the universe itself is necessary. Yeah. Okay, and there's no two ways about that. He said that in clear English.
From the horse's mouth,
bro.
We heard it
online.
Tongue. Yeah.
We can all understand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Since then, he's denied that. I'm not sure if he denied outright that he said it, but he said I misrepresented him by saying that he said that. All I said was that you're saying that the universe is a necessary existence. Now, a necessary existence is defined as something that cannot be any other way, and that something is self-sufficient. as a result of that, and eternal. Because
okay, let's slow down on that. Let's really break this down so no one has any qualms later.
Yes.
So what you're saying, a necessary thing, number one, could not have been any other way.
Yes.
Right. Now,
so a necessary fact, for example, 2 + 2 = 4,
yeah,
is a necessary fact.
right. Okay.
Now, if we take 2 + 2 = 4 as a necessary fact and apply it to existence, to
Yes.
the context of existence, then a necessary existence is something which cannot not exist. In other words, it must always exist.
Yep.
Like it, and that's why we go into eternality now. So it must be eternal.
Yes.
And self-sufficient, because it does not require something outside of it to explain its existence.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is, if it wasn't eternal and it came into being, then it would require an explanation, meaning it would be dependent and not necessary.
Yes.
Right?
And so this thing is independent.
Right. Okay.
Right. So
Yep.
if the thing is independent, then it does not require anything else.
Okay.
Okay. Now, these are some of the descriptions of God according to Islam.
Yes.
It's not all what God is, of
Yep.
course. And this is, let me underline this with 100 lines, right?
Yes.
We don't say Allah, is only a Samad
Yes.
or only Al-Qayyum.
Yes.
We don't say that that's the only attribute of God. What we're saying is that this is something for sure. Al-Samad means the eternally besought of all,
Yeah.
or the self-sufficient,
Yes.
or the independent one,
Yes.
or the sovereign. These are all
Yeah.
translation of a Samad.
Absolutely. Yep.
Or Al-Qayyum, the maintainer,
Mm.
right? But it has this meaning of letting everything stand, because
Yeah.
it comes from Qama Yaqum, literally meaning he is the one who sustains everything else, and he does
Yes.
not require anything to sustain
Absolutely.
it. So these are some of the Islamic, Quranic descriptions of what God is. And that is in line with this notion of a necessary existence, which in Arabic terminology is referred to as wajib al-wujud,
Yes.
which in our literature, all of the Muslim scholars have spoken about. Al-Ghazali has spoken about this term, wajib al-wujud. Ibn Taymiyyah mentions it in Tadmuriyah and many other books abundantly. So it's something which is very much accepted in our tradition,
Yes.
the necessary existence.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is all that God is, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is the moment you acknowledge a necessary existence,
Yes.
then you cannot be an atheist anymore.
Yeah, I would just to give the caveat.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be an atheist if they were to define the atheism as a
Yes.
naturalistic type of atheism.
Yes.
That it's there is no creator, there is no God. And
Absolutely.
you can extend that out slightly by saying there's nothing beyond the physical. It's all
Absolutely.
physical.
So no, this is a good point,
Yeah.
because it depends now on this is a point of definitions. Now,
Yeah.
in the beginning of the debate, he defined atheism almost in line with agnosticism. Like some people refer to it as negative atheism.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have enough evidence to show
Yeah.
that God exists or
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm not subscribing to it.
Yeah.
Fine, if that's how you explain it.
Yeah.
But if the question is, how much of God's attributes do you need to accept before you become a deist or a theist? That's the question.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. So how much of God's attributes do you need to know? All of God's attributes according to which religious scripture, though? There are two parts, I said, of two objectives. One of them is to show you how atheism is an untenable belief, which is the belief that you don't agree with the evidence
Yeah.
of something supernatural, if you like,
Yeah.
that puts all the natural things into existence. For example, if we take that kind of basic definition, if you don't agree with the evidence, so you're an agnostic to that, but then you agree that there is a necessary existence, at least on some level,
Yes.
then is that compatible with atheism? That's a question.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that belief in a necessary existence is compatible with God as per the Quranic discourse.
Yes.
No, it's only compatible with one or two or maybe three aspects of
what we understand. Yeah.
attributes of God.
Yeah.
But it's not compatible with atheism, is the point. And it's also not compatible with what he said in the other part of his discussion, where he said that the universe came into existence from nothing.
Yeah.
Because if the universe came into existence from nothing, then it's not eternal anymore.
Yeah.
And remember, we said that the universe is, if it's necessary, it must be eternal.
So what you're saying is, as soon as you say it came into being,
Yes.
you right at that moment you deny necessity, because like we said, for something to be necessary,
Absolutely.
it can't come into being regardless of if it's from nothing or whatever you want to
There
call
you have it.
As soon as you said it begins, straight away immediately it becomes contingent and dependent.
Yeah, in his opening statement, he said that the universe came from nothing. Okay? If the universe came from nothing, and he said it before, and I quoted him.
And if he's going by Krauss's definition of nothing, then nothing is actually something.
No, he's not going by Krauss's
so he has his
definition,
own.
because I actually watched his whole lecture, because
Yeah.
I wanted to know, I wanted to engage with his thought process.
I know the background you were doing, bro, beforehand. Yeah?
Yes.
So you were prepared for
Look, I don't go into debates without being prepared. I don't go into fights without
Yeah.
training, right?
Yeah.
I don't do this, yeah?
Yeah.
When I did my research on him, he said yeah, very clearly in his refutation of the cosmological argument video, he said, he actually mentioned Lawrence Krauss.
Yeah.
And he said that this nothing here, he said exactly what you said, is not actually a nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So the nothing that Lawrence Krauss is referring to is not actually a nothing.
Yeah.
So in other words, he actually means from nothing, the absence of something.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So he was saying that the universe came from an absence of something.
Okay.
But if you say that the universe came from an absence of something and say at the same time it's necessary, these are contradictory views. Because if it's necessary, it has to be eternal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it means it's never been in non-existence.
That's something very intuitive and rational to understand. Yeah, I mean, everyone would pretty much agree with that.
Yeah, unless he doesn't know what necessity is.
Unless he wants to redefine necessity as Krauss redefined nothing.
Yes.
And that's another problem atheists have, is that they try to redefine things all the time.
Absolutely.
Which is not conducive to any type of debate or discussion.
There you have it. So I think at the end of the day, what he could have turned around and said, look, you believe in a God with X amount. This is Richard Dawkins' classical argument.
Yeah.
Even when Hamza Zortzis approached him, this is what he said. This is what Richard Dawkins said. He said, you believe in a God with complex amount of attributes. You believe in a God who answers your supplication. You believe in a powerful God. You believe also a merciful God and a loving God. And you believe, so therefore you believe in this. This would be the best argument that they could have brought about. Because he could have said, look, you have a God with a complex set of attributes.
Yeah.
So where is this in your rationalization, in your initial rationalization?
Yeah.
And the answer would be, admittedly, it's nowhere, because you can't prove God's mercy and love, or even the fact that he's interactive with his creation rationally. You cannot prove those things on a purely rational level.
Yeah.
That's my belief. If an atheist says that, I would totally agree with them. We would say, from an Islamic perspective, we need a nas, which is the textual evidences from the Quran, from the Sunnah, or if you're a non-Muslim, from any other text, right? But then there's a secondary discussion here, is which of those are the correct ones, right? Which is the correct scripture? Yeah. So when you entrust the scripture with that authority, then it gives you the rest of the information about God's attributes.
Yes, absolutely.
You see,
so what you're saying is, once you've established it's from God, then whatever it says must necessarily be true. Yes. Because it comes from the all-knowing creator, right?
Yeah, so you have to have two arguments here. You have to have an argument for God's existence, or for the existence of an existence of an entity, which everything depends upon, and it depends upon it, and he depends upon nothing. And on the other hand, you have to have an argument for the veracity of whatever is text you believe in.
And we're going to save that, bro, because I want you to do we'll probably do another episode on that particular topic.
But you see, the point I'm making is, I never said you can prove all of God's attributes through this rationalization. And I would never say that.
Yes.
So if you said, okay, well, you believe in X, this is not all your God is. Yeah. Absolutely right. That's why we need the Quran to supplement our understanding. Yeah. If he said, well, you said, that something which is a composite configuration, cannot be, for example, is dependent, and God has got is configuration, because according to your definition, because he's of these amount of attributes here, this attribute, love, mercy, haya, which is life, and so on and so forth. Then he would have got me. I'd have to clarify what I'm saying. Yes. So I would have had to say to him, look, actually, when I said this, I meant different attributes which are not subject to dissembly. Yes. So for example, something like this has got different parts, right? Yeah. Or let's take the example of me. Yeah. I'm different parts. I depend on my vision, for example, right? If I said to him, I depend on my vision, you can cut me up into pieces. Yeah. I can be dissembled. Yes. So if he said to me, well, you said composite configuration, and this could mean, in your vague language, because looking back, it was vague language, right? Because I was doing my own critique of what I said. And some people helped me with that. Some of the adversaries from within the Islamic tradition helped me look into it and be honest with myself. And say, okay, actually, these are some of the points which do make some sense. If he said, look, you said composite configuration, right? Anything which is a composite configuration is dependent. Yeah. Then someone could turn around and say, but God is many different attributes, right? Yes. Isn't that a composite configuration? Then I would have to turn around and say, look, what I meant is a contingent parts. Anything with contingent parts is dependent. Yeah.
Because there's a jump there, isn't it? Now you're almost comparing God and God's attributes to a physical material thing that has
Yes.
independent parts, and there's a problem
Exactly,
there right away.
There it is, yeah.
Yeah, and we
So
shouldn't
if,
assume
in
that
the
anyway.
first instance, in my first articulation, I should
Yeah.
make it clear that anything with dependent parts
Mm.
is dependent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
anything with physical dependent parts,
Yes.
anything with physical dependent parts
Yeah.
is going to be dependent on those parts.
Okay. All right.
Do you
Fair
see
enough.
what I mean?
Yeah. So just let's just quickly just move on slightly from that particular point, because I think you've ironed that out quite well. He brought in there was a part of the discussion which brought in his view, his deterministic outlook on life, and there was a point that was made about that he said, I believe in one of the clips you showed me earlier, that if you're a determinist, then inevitably you have to go back to there has to be a necessary cause. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly? There was a point that was made regarding that, about a necessary existence and his determinism.
Yeah, he said that one leads from the other. Let me get the clip up,
Yeah.
because once again, this is something I quoted that he said, and he didn't acknowledge that he said that.
By the way, while you're looking for the clip, I think we have to give the voice in the wilderness a chance today as well. Professor Collins, poor guy, seemed like just speaking in the wilderness when he was on the debate itself. He just wanted an answer: who created God? I think you guys eventually got around to it, but maybe we can clarify that if we have enough time near the end too.
Okay, this is what he said. Look.
Assumptions, and I don't want to really get into that because it would just make the conversation even more complex. But that's basically, more or less, that's what Graham Oppie does.
Yeah, I would just add though that I think that the distinction that perhaps you're drawing between determinism and necessity, although I don't think they're the same thing, I think that one does follow from the other, and perhaps you're right that it's not good to get into that there, but perhaps I'll have to just appeal to the opinion of the audience and say that it seems to me fairly logical to say that if something necessarily exists, and it therefore, if necessary is defined as cannot have existed in another way, then if there is a being that necessarily caused something to exist, then that was determined, if you see what I'm saying. Because
So he says that one necessarily follows from the other.
Yes.
So obviously, if you've got a necessary existence, and this is my understanding of what he's saying, obviously I might be wrong.
Yes.
But this is exactly what you've heard it,
Yeah.
right? He says one follows from the other, right?
Yeah.
So what I understand from what he's saying, and I might be wrong in my
Yeah.
understanding of what he's saying, I'm open to criticism and whatever,
Yeah.
is that if you have something which, and he's right on everything he just said there, he said that if you have something which is necessary, then determinism would follow from that.
Yeah.
So he says one would follow from the other, right? So in that, what he means here is the necessary thing determines
Yeah.
that which is,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is exactly what we believe in.
Yeah.
So what he's done here is he's given God one of the attributes
Yeah.
that we believe in,
Yeah. But
which is ability to determine things.
yeah, there may be a bit more of a discussion point which we probably can't get into because of time, which is our Islamically understanding how determinism fits in, and do we have that sort of type of definition of determinism?
We believe in. Look, I mean, just to be clear about that,
Yeah.
I mean, in philosophy,
Yeah.
some people say, okay, everything is written, then how could there be free will?
Yes.
And even in philosophy, an atheist might be a hard determinist, like
Yes.
this guy was,
Yeah.
or he could be,
A soft determinist.
or he could be a libertarian,
Yeah.
or he could be a compatibilist.
Yes.
And we believe in our own kind of compatibilism,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So where you have free will, you have the intuition of free will, but it all fits into the framework of determinism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this is an age-old discussion, but
it's
it shows
another
you
show in itself.
how, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
Islam preempted some of these philosophical discussions that are happening today.
Yeah.
We had that discussion 1,000 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
About
determinism and free will.
But I think what's beautiful about Islam is it's very practical.
Yes.
It tells us, okay, fine, there's these areas of discussion, but focus on what's necessary for your existence in this life and the hereafter.
Absolutely.
Don't just lose yourself in the fluff, basically. which is
Yeah, and
beyond
imagine
you.
if you're a determinist, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you are a hard determinist like someone like Alex, and then
Yeah.
you actually believe that you don't have any volition whatsoever
Yeah.
on a first-person perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then really, there's no such thing as responsibility, is there?
Bro, I would even say that there's no such thing as truth.
Yes.
There's no point even talking or discussing because there's no truth to what you're saying. It's all determined.
Everything is determined, so there's no such thing as accountability cannot be ascribed to an individual.
then
So when you make your moral arguments,
Yeah. You can't make any
you
arguments.
can't make any arguments,
Yeah,
can you?
you
Because
shouldn't.
everything is just what? It's just dominoes falling, right?
Yeah, we won't straw man him, but if he is, then he's got.
No, he is definitely a
he's
hard
got-
determinist.
He has issues.
Yeah,
to
no,
deal
he is
with.
definitely a hard determinist. And
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if you are a determinist like that, and you believe everything is just then for example, I was speaking to one of the guys about determinism. In fact, one philosopher, and he was talking about Sam Harris's book on determinism, which is, this guy is not really, I mean, the atheists prop him up, but he's not really that serious. So he wrote a book on determinism, right? And then it says whatever the name of the book is, I'm not gonna
free will or something. I think
I'm not gonna mention the name of the book.
I just mentioned it. I think
no, okay, no problem. Okay, fine. And then it's by Sam Harris. Yeah. But really, was it by Sam Harris? Because it was determined
by previous causes. And
things
that happened.
He didn't write the book.
Yeah.
That was a really good
point. He has issues.
He didn't write the book. It was determined, right?
Yeah. Even his other book about awakening, and I know it's not the topic of this topic. We'll do something separate on it. But even in his book about awakening, where he tries to give an alternative to spirituality to atheists and naturalists. He's trying to give the individual, the person, a spiritual alternative. But one of the bases for doing that is to deny the self.
Yes.
And to deny the self, he's talking and referring to the self. It's strange. It's like
it's a contradiction.
The only reason people seem to take him seriously is because of the position that he has.
Yes,
it just doesn't make any sense. He's like, if you look, for example, in one of the parts of the book, without going off on a tangent, he says, if you're looking for the self, if you're looking for yourself, you look in your head, you look here, you look there, but you can't find the self. And I'm thinking, but you are looking for yourself, so you are the one that's looking.
Right.
It's almost like a dog chasing his own tail.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes,
and
yes. It's the same thing with the determinism thing, right?
Yeah, it's just.
I wrote the book, but if you wrote the book, wasn't actually you didn't do what you did, right?
We'll do. I think we'll do a separate video on this. The contradictions of. But let's move on swiftly, bro. We've got about 5-6 minutes to wrap up. There was one more point I wanted to quickly touch upon before we get to Professor Collins. There's a point of morality that was made.
Yes.
Right? And he seemed to have changed this position or announced that he changed his position regarding morality. If I'm not mistaken, was he a moral nihilist?
No, I think he still is.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's his friend that changed his position.
Right. Okay. Because I remember him saying on the debate that
I didn't watch the thing. I thought he changed his position after the debate. And I thought, okay, now he can come back and take the sword out the sheath and say, I believe in a Kantian type of morality or something like that, and therefore you're not in non-compliance with that, and that's how I'm going to argue. And that would have been the best argument from an atheist. Yeah, but if he came to me, right? I'm telling you now, I'm not trying to arm atheists here because I'm just it's important people from an intellectual perspective know from both sides. Yeah. The best argument he could have made, from my understanding of moral philosophy, is if he came and said, look, there are some morals that we can ascertain from a moral perspective, right? Like, for example, that murder is wrong or rape is bad, and for example, we're going to use a mechanism, like for example, the categorical imperative of Immanuel Kant, which is probably one of the best mechanisms from a secular perspective for determining morality, and your morality is not in line with that, and therefore your morality is not true. That would have been his best argument. If you came in all from virtue ethics, or just outline what your standard of truth is, be firm with it, be ready for the criticisms of the mechanism, because there's, as you know, right, there's those mechanisms are criticized left, right, and center in philosophy. Be ready for that, and then you have a case. Then you can say, well, as a Muslim, you guys believe in this, which is out of sync with this philosophy, which we believe is objective morality because of this, and therefore, so you're saying you would have a position to argue from, right? But if you're going to come and say, well, I'm a nihilist, I don't believe in an objective morality, but your morality is wrong. I'm sorry, but it takes a 7-year-old to know. We'll leave the audience to sort of figure. I'm sure they can figure out what the problem there is. It just makes no sense. You opening your mouth and making moral claims or attacking. Islam. I mean, if we were being fair, isn't an atheist going to be fair there and say, "Come on"? I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, it's silly. No, they've got to be honest. I mean, they've got to be honest because I'm sure that people. I mean, a lot of the people that follow his videos are clever people, right? They're educated people. Yeah. They're people. Atheists, by the way, are educated people. Absolutely, bro. The comments, some of the atheists that leave comments beneath these EpistemiX videos, there's some very intelligent individuals that are looking for the truth. Absolutely, they're very clever guys. Some atheists in this country, especially, I think if there's some studies that have been done that show that they're one of the cleverest religious or non-religious groups. Yeah. They've been, a lot of them have been educated in the West. Yes. And these guys, they know, they can see that that's a problem. And I think a lot of them did comment like that. They said, you interchange your argument on morality because it's so flawed, it's so problematic that it takes just a really an inquisitive 10-year-old to figure out the problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's so. I think we've touched upon some important points to summarize those. Just to round off and finish off, bro. What really interests me, like I've been seeing. Okay, he's been coming out after the debate on certain podcasts and stuff, and he's been really seems to be agitated and irritated by some of the things you said. Obviously, he's misquoted you, and we didn't have a chance to put that.
Let me put it now.
Put it now quickly if you
can.
can. Where he basically
at one point
strawmans you.
What he says.
You gave him two options, right?
Look, the whole thing is that he was saying, and I appreciate the sentiment, even though we've just proved that the sentiment was an incorrect one. It's all my Twitter, by the way. You could obviously go on my Twitter feed and check this stuff out. But what he said, this is what he said, right? Let's go.
Which completely negates
Sorry.
Well, I don't think I said it.
And he was like, so you've got two choices. You either have to retract what you either have to you either have to like accept Islam or face public humiliation. And I was like, look.
Can you hear this?
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Should be fine.
This is so. He says, I said that you either accept Islam or face public humiliation.
Negates racism. Look at chapter 49, verse 13 of the Quran. Look at the Prophet. He said, "There's no virtue of a black man over a white man, an Arab or non-Arab." Now, he's got three options. Option 1, to retract the statement. Option 2, option 2, to provide the evidence. Or option 3, face public humiliation.
Yeah, he just...
All right, so this is the only part, I think, that in the whole debate where I mentioned the term face public humiliation, and I didn't say what he said, I said.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, it's fine, okay? Everyone makes mistakes.
Yes.
I can make mistakes. I'm not gonna say that he has malicious intent.
Yeah.
But what I am going to say is that, look, if you're making such a big deal out of being misrepresented, it's quite ironic that you're misrepresenting my words.
Yeah.
And I think this guy, my advice to him is someone a little bit older than him. I'm not that much older, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
He might think.
Although you look much older than him.
People think I'm like his dad's age or something. Right? But really, we're in the same decade. I think. Yeah. I might be 5 years older than him or something. Seriously. Yeah. But someone who's maybe 5 years older or whatever it is, than him. I'll tell him, my advice to him is don't think you can just come in to debates and to these pressure environments and wing it. Okay, you obviously were not prepared, and you were not even prepared when you went into that podcast. Like you if you're going to make claims about someone, make sure that you have very tight record of what they're saying. If you're going to make a complaint about someone's behavior, don't replicate the behavior you're making a complaint of. And so don't think just because you're a clever guy, yes, you're going to Oxford University, you're doing philosophy, and it's very good stuff, that you can just you're going to meet these people, these polemics from the Muslim world and the Christian world and the Jewish world, from the outside world, and just beat everyone. This is actually the delusion of grandeur, where you think you're something that you're not. That you actually might think that your belief system is capable of defending itself in more a way than it actually can. You might realize that actually the more you test your belief, or lack of a belief, the more you're going to crumble under pressure, because you have very limited arguments that you can use against certain people from different faiths. I heard that he'd done really well against a Christian though. But why would you come into a debate with me, or with Abdullah Andalusi, who's a seasoned... I mean, forget about me, right? Abdullah Andalusi has had how many debates? Maybe 50?
Many debates.
Okay, 50 debates, something like that. Maybe more than that, I think, He is a seasoned debater. He will do his research.
I think he probably learned from his mistakes this time around.
Don't do that. The thing is, young people have to learn, okay? Including myself, right? Young people have to learn that this stuff is real. Like, when you go out on social media and hundreds of 500,000 people watch that debate, almost 500,000 people watch the debate. If you don't perform well and you don't bring the best argument that you can as an atheist, you're letting down your community. Same thing with me as a Muslim. The same thing with me. Now, the truth is, some people are saying, why don't you debate him again? Most people are saying, no, don't debate him again. From his community, they're saying, debate this guy called Matt Dillahunty. Look, I haven't got a problem debating Matt Dillahunty. In the first instance, there's another guy that was Sargon of Akkad was meant to take this debate.
He dropped out, right?
He dropped out. Now, I've got a question. Why did he drop out? Okay. Sargon of Akkad has got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Okay. He spends a lot of time attacking Islam. He's got videos attacking Islam. My question is, did you look at the names? And I'm not praising myself, Abdullah Andalusi.
Yeah.
But did you see that, wait, these guys know something about Islam?
Yeah.
And I don't want to put myself in that situation where I'm being humiliated or being interrogated or being whatever it may be by Muslims who know something about their religion, who are definitely going to have the upper hand from a theological perspective than me.
Yeah.
Why is it that people that are on the alternative right and the right wing, they're very happy to do face-to-cam videos, very happy to preach to the choir, but some of them, and I give credit to Cosmic here because, or to Alex, because he did come.
Yeah, absolutely.
It showed it showed some kind of bravery actually, to be honest. But some other people like Sargon of Akkad has no bravery and no backbone whatsoever, because he was happy to come, on the basis that it was on another issue. I can't remember when we tweaked the titles or whatever it is. He said, "Forget it."
Yeah.
He dropped out. So why are you dropping out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro, to be honest, bro, like I can tell you from the past 6-7 years of being involved in this and dealing with atheists, most of the guys online, like you said, credit to Alex, he came out, at least he tried to defend his position.
Credit to him,
but most of them, bro, we're in the age of teleprompters and reading off scripts and getting help from others.
And I think this Sargon of Akkad is actually that's all he does.
Yeah, and
because if you look at his videos, some of them don't even have him speaking to the camera.
Yeah.
It's just actually voice only.
Yeah.
Which you can imagine him writing something before.
Or someone writing something for him
which is good in a way, because you're preparing for what you're doing, but it shows you really that your ideas are so superficial, you're not ready to be probed on them, right?
But or maybe the case, it's not his ideas and it's someone else's ideas, and he's the mouthpiece, right?
Yes.
We don't know. I'm not saying that's the case.
No, it might be,
But if they're not willing to step up and defend themselves.
Look, I made a video about him. Me and Abu Sophia made a video about him some time ago, because we actually assessed one of his videos that was talking about Islam, and he made a blunder. Massive, it's on my channel.
Yeah.
The blunder was that he said that they worship Muhammad, right? Or something.
That will be the point. I think I would stop watching his videos. But
the point is, he's got 1 million subscribers. He's got probably about 10,000 people liking that video. Do you know what you're doing when you present information like that?
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're dumbing people down in the society.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why when we encounter people in Speaker's Corner in the streets, they say, well, you guys worship Muhammad. Where are you getting that information? You're getting it from someone who you respect and who is quite intelligent, but has not done the research when it comes to Islam.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. The problem is people who are the biggest mouths when it comes to Islam, they're unwilling, or against Islam, they're unwilling to put themselves in that position. And when they do, they get really stung. Like with Cosmic Skeptic, he got really. Let's be frank. He was saying, I can't remember exactly. I don't want to misquote him, but he was saying something like, "I'm going to review the video and drink alcohol" or something like that. Did you see where he said something? Someone showed it to me.
I haven't seen.
He was saying that he said, "I'm going to review the video and with some alcohol beverage or something all night."
Okay.
Obviously, this has affected him.
Yeah.
It hasn't affected me. If anything, it affected me in a positive way.
Yeah.
Some people saw me as quite a bit of a bully.
Yeah.
Which
But you're not a bully, man. People need to know that Hijab is not a bully. Yeah, he has this dominating presence because of being 6'7", 6'7",
6'6.5",
6'6.5", mashallah. As God wills, but he's not a bully, and obviously you have your demeanor on stage. That's the way you present. That's your natural style.
Look. The thing is, I've made this very clear. Anyways, my strategy with different kinds of atheists or different kinds of non-Muslims or even different kinds of Muslims, is it depends on what they say on the public record, because I did a bit of watching of his videos and see what he says about Islam in particular, and the stuff that he was saying in my eyes were very offensive. So I couldn't be close to him. He seems like a nice guy in terms of his behavior. Yeah. Had he not said those things about Islam, I would have had a completely different attitude towards him. Wallahi. If he didn't say those things about Islam, and didn't say those things about Prophet Muhammad, I would have loved to actually communicate with him and speak, and my presence on stage would have been a different presence. I wouldn't have interrogated him or interrupted him in the way I did. Basically, people need to know that from our perspective, and it's an emotional investment, and people might not appreciate it, might not know it, but it's just a religious mind, or at least my religious mind, where if your sacred items are being desecrated, if you like, or if you feel like you're being offended because of them, you can actually change your emotional sense of being, right? it's like someone attacks your mum or
Absolutely.
says something bad about your
it's-
parents.
yeah, absolutely.
You're not when you see
Yeah.
them, you're not going to be like, okay.
It's a natural
let's hug each
reaction,
other.
you know.
But you try. I tried my best, but really, I couldn't find it. I find it difficult.
And I think personally, I think you held yourself quite well during the debate, right? I don't think you were overly harsh or, and the moderator was.
With Edward Tabash, I
Yeah.
was, because he has nothing on the record.
Yeah.
We're doing that stuff. I was not like that with him.
But saying that, would you be willing to, if say Skeptic after his beverage and reviewing the debate, he thinks, you know what, I need to get back in touch with Hijab. Would you be willing to maybe have a private chat with him? You know?
No, because the thing is, because of the stuff that he said on the record,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the person. I think
Yeah.
maybe you would be the person.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd be calm and you're much kinder or
Yeah.
sabur, because as I said to you before, I've got an emotional investment with these things. If you
Yeah.
say something about Prophet Muhammad and you
Yeah.
keep it up and you know it
Yes.
hurts my feelings
Yeah.
and you hurts the feelings of the Muslims,
Yeah.
now you've got the freedom of speech to say that stuff in this country. But don't think that just because you have the freedom of speech to say it, that you're going to be on good terms with
Yeah.
people who you're offending.
No, absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Say if he came out publicly apologized.
Yeah. No, if you took the videos down and publicly apologized, then
Yeah.
we have something we can
Yeah.
talk. Yeah, no,
And to be honest, the only piece of advice I would give him is, look, he seems like an intelligent guy.
Yeah, he definitely
seems
is.
like quite a nice guy, but you know, it doesn't befit his style or his personality to say stuff like that and come out with stuff like that.
Yeah,
he needs to be a bit more mature.
He needs to understand that, look, he's insulated with his friends, and I know that myself because I'm in the same kind of position, right? Sometimes because you have your fanboys and you have your comments and people are cheering on for you and stuff like that, you don't really care if you have a critic from outside of your community.
Yeah.
And it really hurts when you have a critic from inside your community, but from outside it's not the same. It's like, these Muslims or these Christians or these Jews or these religious people, they're idiots anyways.
Yes.
I don't care, right? So, but what I will say is that there's a project here which we're trying to work on as human beings living in a society, which is, and I'm not saying this as a PR spin, I'm saying this as a reality. Like, at the end of the day, we want our kids to be friends with each other and be good with each other.
Yes.
The atheists and the Muslim friends.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that won't happen if the Muslim is attacking the Sikh.
No, absolutely.
If the gods of the Sikhs or the gods of the Christians or the sacred, you need to know our sensitivity.
How do you
have
have
a
the
right,
gods of the atheists, bro?
You may have you have a right to say what you want to say, right? However, know that when you say certain things and it affects people and they respond within the law.
Yeah.
I mean, what I did was not unlawful, but they respond within the law in a way which you don't like. Get ready for that.
Yeah.
Don't complain.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
What you're saying is, look, you let him know that you were offended by what he said, because essentially what he's doing is he's done something worse than cursing at your mother.
Yes.
Because we love the Prophet ﷺ more than our parents. We, after Allah, it's the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Why does he want to offend us? He knows it will offend us.
If he wants to have a genuine discussion and see if we can get.
If he doesn't look, it's a trade-off. Look, they say in economics, it's an opportunity cost, right?
Yeah.
You can make those statements about the Prophet Muhammad. The opportunity cost of doing that is that you will not be on good terms with practicing religious members of the Muslim community.
Yeah.
Same thing. I can say lots of bad things about Sikh gods or Hindu gods, which I don't believe in or agree with.
Yeah.
But the opportunity cost of doing that is that now I've blocked myself off from that community.
Absolutely.
I can't sit with them on a dinner table, and really engage with them to better society collectively in the way that I would have been able to before.
Yeah, you call it freedom of speech, but I don't think it's a wise use of the freedom of speech, especially when you're trying to engage with people and get to the truth of things.
It's up to you what you want to do in life,
But I think that's a good point to wrap up on, bro.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Professor Colin goes without an answer again at the end of this video, but nevertheless, we'll probably touch upon it next time. Who created God type of question.
Well, look, if they knew the contingency argument properly, that question would not be asked.
That's a brilliant point, bro. That's a brilliant point. I think we've answered it. I think we've answered it. Professor Collins, if you're watching, hopefully that addresses your point once and for all. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be doing more episodes with Mohammed Hijab. Until next time, take care.